Okay, so back with our last two divisions to close out our division preview. Plus, we're going to slam through a mock at the end of this if we have time. We're doing the NFC North and the NFC West, which are both very interesting divisions. And I think as far as the NFC goes, should have minimum two playoff teams each. We'll start with the North. Last year, the North was a good division top to bottom and better than I remember it being top to bottom. You had obviously the Lions, who were a very good team, go to the NFC Championship game, have a lead in the NFC Championship game, and blow it in spectacular Lions fashion. The Packers, who were not supposed to be good, but we found out that Jordan Love is a guy and that the Packers are, they did it again and they're going to be good for another, 10 or 15 years as long as they pay Love. Then
They did pay him. They agreed.
was
So
that today?
I think it was Friday or Saturday. They gave him a 4-year extension.
Okay, so I missed that, but still, I get things late anyway. So the Packers, they paid Love, so they're going to be they should, barring injury, they should be a good team for a while now. The Vikings, who made some massive changes, you could say that they're rebuilding, but they still have some good pieces around, especially for fantasy purposes on the offensive side. And then the Bears, who are in the midst of a gigantic rebuild, a lot of hype and a lot of hope for that team. Definitely have some good weapons. It's going to come down to how Caleb Williams plays. So we'll start with the Lions, who I would say are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. They made some good. They made some additions on defense, I think, and strengthened the team. They returned a majority of the contributors. I think they lost like Josh Reynolds or something, who did contribute, but they have guys that can step up and fill that role. So I don't like playing the Lions if I'm an NFL team this year. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything that you want to add before we just jump into the schedule?
No, I mean, I think they will be hopefully better on defense for their sake. I would imagine they won't be as good on offense.
Interesting. Why is that?
I just feel like teams will have more film and they'll have a whole offseason to kind of look at how the Lions used Amon Ra and Laporta. Like, because they're not, and they'll add more wrinkles, right? But I think Laporta and Gibbs, there was no real tape on, right? And so teams weren't necessarily ready for it. And now you have enough tape, I think, to kind of make a difference.
Do you think Gibbs, because like Gibbs and Monty had a pretty healthy split. Do you think that it kind of leans one way more this year? Because I feel like Montgomery is going much later than he went last year in fantasy drafts, and Gibbs is going noticeably higher than he did last year.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on that. Because like people have talked about like end of season Gibbs versus Montgomery, like carries inside the 5, but Gibbs didn't have a single carry inside the 10-yard line in the playoffs, right? So that is pretty telling to me, right? Like
Yeah.
when you so I would imagine last year it was like 60-40 Montgomery split end of the season, right? I would imagine it's closer to Gibbs, but like Montgomery's a good back and they like him. I can't imagine you're going to get more than like 55% Gibbs.
Yeah.
And if Montgomery's getting the goal line work, like that's not great.
I also think that a lot of it's going to come down to game flow. If you're trying to close out a game, you've got a lead and you're just trying to kill clock. I don't really think you're giving Gibbs like that many touches. He's the younger guy. He's the one that you're going to have more investment in, and he's not like an every down, run it up the middle, just grinder like Montgomery is. Montgomery's playing on what'll probably be his last big contract, and he's playing well, and they like him, and the team trusts him. So if they're winning in a bunch of these games, you can get just the Montgomery show down the road. Like just to close out games.
Right.
Yeah. So week one, they are at home against the Los Angeles Rams of Los Angeles. I think that they win this game because they're at home.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue that. And I think at the same time, I'd pick the Rams to win that game
Why?
because I still don't believe in the Lions. Like one year isn't enough for me to believe in the totality of them, if that makes sense. Um,
I guess
like
we'll coin flip it because we're split.
I I believe in Sean McVay and I believe in the Rams Stafford to be a good team. I'm not sure the Lions weren't just the Jacksonville Jaguars with the Blake Bortles year. I could totally be wrong, but I'm not convinced of that yet. You know what I mean? Like that notion is still in my head.
Sure. So the Lions were 6-2 at home last year, and the Rams were 5-4 on the road. And I feel like this Rams team plays down to competition.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? It was like a 4-point game or a 3-point game in the playoffs. I
Let's see.
think was like 27-24 or something.
The Lions won by 1 at home last year, actually, in the playoffs. 24-23.
Damn. Yeah, I mean the Rams are worse without Aaron Donald. I 100% agree, but they also have a better offensive line than they did last year, and you have theoretically a healthy Cooper Kupp week 1, which I think changes a lot. Um, I don't know. I'm not like I am a believer in the Rams to be good because like to exceed where they're at, but I'm not a believer in um
I'm a believer in Motor City Dan Campbell. He's biting kneecaps, bro. He's turned this shit around. We're gonna spend all day talking about this game. We're coin flipping it because we can't
yeah.
agree. Okay. So then they get the Bucks at home week 2. We already gave them a win for this one. They get the Cardinals on the road week 3. I think that's a win. They get Seattle at home week 4, which I think is a win. And then they go to Dallas.
Well, they have a
And
bye week, so they could be
they have an early bye. Yeah.
week 5 bye week.
So then they go to Dallas after the bye. Do you remember what we scored this game?
We gave it to Dallas because it was Dallas at home,
Okay.
and they beat the Lions at home last year because
They beat the Lions last year.
right. Yeah, but our reasoning was
Dallas doesn't lose at home in the regular
right.
season. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So then they go to Minnesota. I think they beat Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah.
They get the Titans at home. That's a
I
win.
think the win.
They go to Lambeau.
I think that's going to be a loss, personally.
I want to see. So they beat the Packers by 14 last year in Lambeau.
Very early in the season, and then they right like week 5,
and then
maybe?
they lost. Yeah, and then they lost at home to the Packers in November.
Right. It was Thanksgiving Day. Remember
It was Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah, I'm fine splitting the Packers. I'm fine with that. They go to Houston. What did we give this game?
I think we gave it to. It was either we gave it to Houston or a coin flip. I don't know. I feel like I would have been in the camp of giving it to Houston, but I don't know where you would have landed.
Let's coin flip it then, because I can't remember.
Let me double.
Yeah.
I'll go look, see if Houston's. I don't think Houston's coming off their bye week, so. No, they did have 10 days rest, so I think that's what we decided to give it to Houston because Houston played the Thursday before.
Okay, that's fine. We'll give it to Houston. Jacksonville, that's a win.
Yeah.
Colts should be a win. Bears should be a win. Packers were giving the win.
Yep.
I think we had the Bills losing this game.
Yes, we did because they have the Lions of extra rest and it's in Detroit.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the Bears in Chicago. I think we should probably give this to the Lions.
Yep.
And then they go to San Fran. That's probably an L.
Yeah. I would pick San Fran in that
Yeah.
said game.
And
And
then the Vikings at home. So that's a win.
Yep.
So what do we have them at?
12-4-1.
The same record as last year.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. They have a surprisingly easy schedule.
Yeah.
It's just because of matchups. Like they get the AFC South, which is nothing special. Okay. So now we go to the Packers, which are a surprising team from last year. They add Josh Jacobs. I don't know if that makes them a better run team or kind of the same run team. I think Aaron Jones is probably more dynamic, but Jacobs is more of an every down guy. I think the most important thing is just we got another year of Love as a starter with his weapons returning, and we'll see how this plays out. This is the Brazil game against the Eagles. Do you remember what we did with this one?
We gave it to the Eagles.
Okay.
Because we were just like, who do we think straight up is going to win?
And yeah, who's straight up better? Yeah. Then they get the Colts. That should be a win. Titans should be a win. Vikings at home should be a win. Rams in LA, probably a loss. Cardinals at home is a win. Texans at home, I'd probably take the Packers. But I don't remember what we did.
Right. I think we
You got an indoor Southern Dome team going up north to play at Lambeau in late October.
Right. I think we actually, based on this, I think we had the Texans losing to the Chiefs, at the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Jets.
I'm comfortable with that.
Or maybe it was the Ravens, not the Jets, and the Jets was a coin flip, I think. But
yeah, I'm comfortable with
either
that.
way, we gave that to the Packers. So
okay. So then they get the Jaguars.
Yeah,
I think that's a win. Lions at home, we gave this to the Packers.
Yep. So they're 7-2 going into their bye week.
I think that's understandable. Then they get the Bears in Chicago. It's probably a win. Niners in Lambeau. This is an interesting game.
And am I crazy thinking the Packers might win this game?
I don't think so. In the playoffs, they lost by 3 to San Fran, and I think San Fran had to come back in that game.
Yeah.
And they were in San Fran, obviously.
Right.
I don't think you're crazy.
All right, so we're giving it to the Packers?
We're giving it to the Packers, yeah.
Okay.
Dolphins in Green Bay should be Green Bay.
Yep.
In Detroit, that's a loss for the Packers.
Yep.
In Seattle, I want to lean Packers, but that's still going to Seattle is never easy.
Yeah, I mean we could coin flip.
Yeah, I think the Packers are a better straight up team, but you got to go west and you got to go to Seattle of all places.
Right.
Saints at home should be a win. Vikings in Minnesota. They get 2 division games to close out the year. So Vikings in Minnesota, I think that they win this. And then in Chicago, depending on their playoff seeding and like where they're at and if they can move up, they might. Do the Packers rest their guys ever? I feel like they do.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we'd have them at 12-3-1, and we'd have the Lions at 11-4-1. So they'd
So
like,
they're playing this game.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So so then they obviously beat the Bears.
Right.
So we've got them at essentially the same record as the Lions,
We're
given
them
we have
13
them.
and 1. Like, if we wanted to, like, I think you could do some maneuvering where they were just 13-4, give them the Seahawks game, have them lose the Niners game to be safe type deal. And then they'd be right in line with, like, Lions Packers is, I think, going to be neck and neck for that division.
I agree. So I'm fine with this right now.
Yeah.
The Vikings, 2 new quarterbacks, probably going to split the season. You get a healthy Jetta. You get Addison with another year. You lose Dalvin Cook. Well, they lost him already, but you gain Aaron Jones, an in division rival. I don't know. It's going to be the tale of two quarterbacks. If Darnold's a veteran in this league now, I guess, and McCarthy is one of the guys that had the most question marks coming out of the draft. It feels like Christian Ponder at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But they open the season against the Giants in New York.
I think they'll win that game.
I think we gave them the win.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
I feel very confident that they're going to win that game. And then I think they'll lose to the Niners, Texans, Packers, Jets.
Lions again.
And then they get the Lions after the bye week. I think they're going to lose that game.
Rams are going to lose.
Yeah, so now they're 1-6. I mean, Colts at home.
We did this game already, but I don't remember. We didn't give the Colts very many wins.
We gave the Colts 5 wins. I am fairly confident we coin flipped this game.
Well, I'm cool with that.
Because it was the Vikings at home with 10 days rest and the Colts.
Being the Colts.
Yeah, at the Jaguars, we gave that to the Jaguars.
Titans, I think they beat the Titans. I think they beat the Titans? What did we give the Titans?
The Titans were 4-12-1. So
was this one of their wins?
We had them beating the Patriots. We had them beating the Commanders. We had them splitting with the Colts, and then we had them beating the Chargers, and I think we coin flipped we coin flipped the Bears game. So I think we gave this game to the Vikings.
Okay. Gotta stay consistent.
Yeah.
Then the Vikings probably split with the Bears.
Yeah, I think that's a fair estimation.
So they lose on the 24th. Then they get the Cardinals at home. I think the Cardinals win this game.
I mean, who do you think's better, the Cardinals or the Bears?
That's so tough. Because, we know what Kyler is. We don't know what what's his name? I'm blanking. The rookie quarterback.
McCarthy.
No, the Bear. You said the Bears. Who do you think is better?
Caleb Williams.
Williams. We don't know what Caleb Williams is going to do.
I would, at this point, McCarthy's got to be starting, so I'm probably taking the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cardinals. Yeah, 100%.
We gave it to the Falcons, so they beat the Bears. We
gave it to the Falcons, yeah. Then they beat the Bears.
To the Seahawks.
They lose to the Seahawks. They lose to the Packers, and they lose to the Lions. What do we got them at?
We have them at 3-13-1.
That feels reasonable.
Feels bad, but I mean, I don't believe in Darnold, nor do I believe in their defense.
Nor do
So,
I believe in McCarthy.
right. So, yeah, that feels about right.
Yeah. I think the Bears might have a better record
I
end of
would,
the
I
year.
got to assume they're going to have a better record.
So they opened the year at home against the Titans.
I think they'll win that game.
Did Yeah, we had the Titans losing that game, right?
Oh no, that was okay. That was the coin flip Titans game because it was week 1, and
We
we were
should have
like,
been more we should have been more organized about all this.
yeah, but
We'll be
we
better for
yeah
next year. But whatever, we're shooting from the hip. So who do we
we
got?
we coin flipped it because we were just like it's a rookie versus
A
Will
shitty
Levis,
team. Yeah.
yeah, and a new
Okay.
coach. So who
Right.
knows?
So who knows? All right. So we're coin flipping that game. They lose to the Texans. Then the Colts on the road
I think they lose that game.
lose that game. The Rams on the road, they lose. They beat the Panthers.
Yes,
Okay. Jags at home.
we gave that to the. It's in London, but we gave it to the Jags.
Yeah, because the Jags are basically a London team.
Yep,
They beat the Commanders.
for sure.
Cardinals in AZ.
I think the Cardinals win because it's in Arizona.
Agreed. Patriots, they win.
Yeah, we gave them a win.
Okay. Packers loss. Vikings at home, that's a win.
Yep.
Lions is a loss. Niners is a loss. Vikings is a loss. Lions is a loss. Seahawks is a loss.
It's in
Packers is a loss.
Chicago, though.
Yeah, it is, but I feel like Seattle's a better team. I think. I don't know. It's still Geno, and he still hasn't written back, but like he's also not what he was 2 years ago. Like he's still Geno.
Right. I
The,
feel like that
the Seahawks.
might.
I feel like I want to coin flip every game on the Seahawks schedule because I don't know
Yeah,
what they're gonna do.
I have no idea. I was gonna
No
say I think
idea.
it might be a coin flip.
That's fine. Coin flip it, and then they get the Packers. So what do we got the Bears at?
Uh, we have the Bears at 4-11-2.
All right. So I'll say that I do feel like the Bears are going to be better than the Vikings.
And we have them better than the Vikings right now. So,
I feel like they're going to win more than 4 games too.
which is entirely so. I think we both agree the Vikings will finish in 4th place in that
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
I think we would both agree the Bears will finish in 3rd place.
Yep.
And then who do you have winning the division?
The Packers.
So do I.
All right. Let's get it, boy. But the
So
Lions are like the first wild card team.
it's going to be interesting because
I think we have Dallas a game behind that.
we have Dallas at 11-3-3, but we have the Lions at 12-4-1. So
It'll be interesting.
yeah, I think they'll be fighting for that number 1 wild card spot.
I am never going to say anything against the Cowboys' capacity to fuck shit up.
They both have the capacity to fuck shit up. The Lions.
That's true. All right.
Okay.
So the NFC West, which should be another straightforward top to bottom division, I think, but barring injury, the Rams should be better. And I don't know. I mean, the Niners are still filthy somehow, but who knows what's going to happen with Ayuk? But I mean, they also have enough weapons on offense to like cover up anything. So I don't know. But you had the Niners last year, 12-5, 5-3 at home, 7-2 on the road. So they played well away from San Fran. The Rams, 10-7, even splits, 5-3, 5-4. The Seahawks, 5-3 at home, 4-5 on the road. They were a 9-8 team. So if they were in the NFC South, they would have been tied for the first in the division. So they weren't a bad team. but they weren't a great team. They were just so average, which is why we're going to coin flip every game on the Seahawks schedule. And the Cardinals sucked, but they should get, a Kyler's on track to start the season, and they've got arguably the best talent at wide receiver we've seen since Calvin Johnson. So it'll be interesting. Let's see, Niners. I feel like other than that Packers game that we just did, every time we've seen the Niners on the schedule, we've given them a win. So
we did have them losing to the Chiefs as well.
Because it was in Kansas City, right?
Yep.
Okay, that's reasonable. So we got the Niners and the Jets to start the season. I'd give that to the Niners in San Fran.
Yeah, we did give that to the Niners. Yeah.
So then we've got the Vikings. That's a win.
Yep.
The Rams in LA.
So this is.
How did we have that going last year? The Niners beat the Rams last year in LA, and they lost at home. So they split last year.
I was going to split it because I think they will beat the Cardinals and Seahawks twice apiece.
Yeah. And the Rams are good.
Yeah, I think they're more likely to go 5-1 than they are 6-0 in division. You know what I mean?
Right. They'll lose a game somewhere, so why not make it this game? So they lose to the Rams. They demolish the Patriots.
And the Cardinals. And the Seahawks.
And the Cardinals and the Seahawks. They lose to the Chiefs.
We beat the Cowboys.
They have 10 days rest before they play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And this is in San Francisco. Why did we have them losing this game?
No, we had them. I'm sorry. Because you said we so the reason that we had the Chiefs winning this game is the Chiefs have their bye week the week before. So the Chiefs have more rest than the 49ers do.
I'll stand on business then. That's fine. Cowboys in San Fran should be a win.
Yeah, we gave it to them.
To San Fran.
Right.
Yeah. Then they play the Bucks in Tampa. That's a win.
Yeah, because the only
I feel like you're thinking about something right now.
No, I'm going back to review my notes for the Chiefs to make sure I'm correct in this.
Oh, by the way, did you see Joe Burrow go full Slim Burrow with the Slim Shady haircut? It's happening. Yes. Super Bowl, Cincinnati. It's happening. He's embracing his inner Slim Shady. Like, this is the year.
Right.
Okay, so.
No, Oh, no, I know what it was. Okay.
Uh-oh, we just got a Rav text. Oh, we designated J.D. Davis for assignment.
Oh, I thought it was going to be LeMahieu. That would have been
I was hoping it was LeMahieu.
I actually think
I feel like we'd be looking for reasons to give the Chiefs losses.
Yeah, I do. I'm going back, and we only gave the Chiefs one loss, and so.
But like a bunch of coin flips, right?
And 4 coin flips, but that was like, so the teams, it was Houston, Cleveland, Baltimore, Houston, Cleveland, Baltimore, Cincy, and the 49ers. Those were the 5 games I could see on their schedule in terms of coin flips and losses. I know we coin flipped the Ravens and
Cincy.
And Cincy, and we coin flipped the Browns because it was in Cleveland. And
I feel like we would have given the Browns the win because the Browns don't lose at home.
We coin flipped it because it's still the Browns.
Yeah.
One of the coin flips was the Broncos the last week because based on their schedule, they
might not be playing for nothing.
So it's just a matter of. Like of those, I think we I think we had them losing to the Bengals, but I don't, I mean, we could coin flip this Chiefs Niners game. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's fine, just in the sake of time. But then they beat
yeah,
the Cowboys, they beat the Bucks, they beat the Seahawks, they lose to the Packers, they beat the Bills, they beat the Bears, they beat the Rams, they beat the Dolphins, they beat the Lions, they beat the Cardinals. So they go on a tear to end the season.
right,
And one of those games, they will have like a Niners moment where just like
right.
nothing works and they blow the game and everyone's like, we got to get Purdy out of here. And then he comes back the next week. He throws three touchdowns. One of them's to McCaffrey. He rushes for another one, and everyone's like, okay, it was just a bad game. So they won't run off like 9 straight to end the year, but they could. They should.
And I mean, yeah. And so we have them at 14-2-1.
Yeah, that's reasonable. This team is just in like this team is like it's like playing Madden with trades off in some respects, you know? Like
Right,
it's crazy. They're so freaking good on paper. If they didn't have Kyle Shanahan, they would be so good.
right.
All right. So then the Packers schedule. We've done a lot of these. I already feel like we had them losing to the Eagles.
Wait, we're doing the Rams now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Forgot we've done a lot of these games. Yeah, we actually just did all of them 15 minutes ago.
We've done all of them. Wouldn't you believe it?
So the Rams, we coin flipped the first game, or did we actually give them the win outright?
We coin flipped it,
All right.
and then we had them beating Cardinals, Niners, Bears, Packers.
Raiders.
Yep, beat the Raiders, beat the Vikings.
Beat the Vikings, beat the Seahawks, beat the Dolphins, beat the Patriots. We did this Eagles game.
Yep, and we had the Eagles as a coin flip.
Okay, that's fair. Because it's still an East Coast team going west, but I do think that they're a better team than the Rams. Right. So, yep. Yeah. They beat the Saints. They beat the Bills. They lose to the Niners. They beat the Jets.
I think we coin flipped this Jets game because they had extra rest, but they're going east.
Right. And for some reason, I'm high on the Jets this year.
Right.
All right. So yeah, but then they beat the Cardinals and they beat the Seahawks. So they're what, like 12-4-3 or something.
Yeah, just so I have it here, but you go back and you tell me which games they lose on that schedule.
Okay. They lose to the Niners in San Fran. That was it.
Yeah, so we had
oh, damn it.
So I'm going back.
So good.
I know, I'm going back over, dude, and they're 8.5 wins is their over under. Like that's pretty.
You gotta hammer that over, dude. What are we doing?
I know, right?
Oh shit.
So
we've got them at what, like 13-1-3 or something?
We had the Bills beating them in our original takes of this.
All right, we got to stick with that then. We got to stick with that.
I'm sorry. We had the Bills as a coin flip, right? Okay. But that's still
yeah, because I think that's when we were like, we're looking at the Bills schedule and we're like, there's got to be more wins in there than this somehow. And then we were like, maybe there's not. And then since then, I think you've come down further on the Bills.
Yes. Okay. But so we have them at 12-1-4. So behind the Niners, but still
behind the Niners, but with the potential to be above the Niners. Right. Okay. Fuck, dude. All right. So now the worst schedule in the NFL, because we have no idea what could happen.
Let's go with the Cardinals first, because we know that'll be.
All right, this is going to be an easy one. Cardinals schedule. The damn Seahawks, man.
So they
Wait.
open with the
When I
Bills.
wait when I typed in Cardinals schedule, it brought up the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah. So they
NFL.
open with the Bills, which we had as a loss. Then they get
Yeah.
the Rams, which is a loss. Then they get the Lions, which is a loss. Then they get the Commanders at home, which is a win.
Yeah.
Niners and
Niners is a loss.
those are
Packers is a
losses.
loss.
Chargers to me is a win.
Okay. Dolphins is a loss.
Chicago at home, we said that was a win.
Yeah. Jets
at home.
I think that was a loss.
We gave that to the Jets. Yep.
Seahawks on the road is a loss.
Yep.
Vikings, we just gave them a win. Seahawks at home.
I would give them a win there.
Yeah. Patriots is a win. Panthers is a win. Rams and Niners are losses.
Yep.
So what do we got them at?
7-10.
That's better than they should be, but I feel like it's also like Kyler's still a good quarterback. We shit on him all the time, and rightfully so. But he's still he's an above, like, if you split quarterbacks in half, he's in the upper tier.
And their line's gotten better. Their weapons have gotten better, and I think Jonathan Gannon's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they're going to be competitive in some games for sure.
I think that's a fair schedule.
All right, here we go. The Seahawks. I'm going to put no thought into this whatsoever because anything could happen. So
Broncos at home, that's a win.
That's a win. Patriots on the road, I think it's still a win.
Win.
Dolphins
at home.
This is like one of the first games that we did, and I don't remember what we gave it. I'm looking at it now though, and like the Dolphins all the way down here have to go to Seattle all the way up here.
So we gave it to the Dolphins because they play the Bills Thursday night the week before.
So they had more rest, so they fly in early.
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with that. The Lions is a loss. The Giants is a win. The Niners is a loss. The Falcons, what did we do with this one? 10 days rest going to Atlanta.
We gave it to the Falcons because it's in Atlanta and it's team traveling east.
And the Seahawks defense is suspect as fuck.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Bills in Seattle
was a loss.
Okay. Rams is a loss. Niners is a loss. Cardinals is a win. Jets in New York is a loss. Cardinals is a loss. Packers is a loss. Vikings is a win.
Packers was a coin flip.
We coin flipped that? Because it's in Seattle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Vikings is a win. Bears is a win.
I don't like that coin flip anymore. I think the Packers are going to take that game. I hate the Seahawks so much, dude. Fucking hate the Seahawks.
I mean, if we give that game to the Packers, right? The Packers would be 14-3, right? Which would be better.
We still have them. We have them winning the division. So
yeah.
All right.
We'll go
so then
14-3, and then we have the Seahawks at 6-11
to close the year.
Right. Yeah.
Which
they have a harder schedule than the Cardinals, so I could see it.
Yeah.
Like they have most of their hard, like Jets on the road, right? Bills are at home, but Falcons are on the road. Lions are on the road. Miami's at home. You know what I mean? Like it's not an easy schedule, but
yeah. I hate the Seahawks so much. There's one Seahawk that I would draft in fantasy, and I'm not touching anybody else. I think there's two Seahawks that I would draft in fantasy, and I'm not touching anybody else.
So are you Niners, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks?
Yeah. I think the Niners will find a way to do it.
That is my division 2. So
but by the numbers, the Rams have a real legitimate chance of taking this.
Agreed. I mean, all the divisions we have like within one game in the NFC, right?
which is why
So
the NFC is more interesting. All right, so playoff picture. We've got
we
what do
both
we
have the
got?
Niners as the one seed, right?
Okay.
So we have the Eagles at, I mean, we have the Niners at 14, 2-1, the Eagles at 12, 1-4. So I think the Niners one seed in my, I think the Eagles are the two, I mean, we technically have the Packers at 14 and 3, but I feel more confident that like for me, I would go Niners, Eagles, Packers, Falcons, because that's who we had winning the division. Right.
Yeah.
I would then go, I think Cowboys, Rams, Lions.
I'll go Rams, Lions, Cowboys.
Okay. And that is all of those teams we have winning 11 to 12 games. So that's a pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Wow.
parity in the NFC where there's a lot of good teams, there's a lot of trash teams, and like that's it.
We have uh only 9 teams with an above 500 record, whereas in the, I mean, we have 10 in the AFC, so it's not a huge difference. But
That's true.
are you going Eagles or Packers as the 2 seed?
Eagles.
Okay. All right. Um, and the
So
Bucks
we're
just
gonna,
one game out of the playoffs.
yeah, it's gonna happen though. We're not making the playoffs this year,
Right.
and I'm fine with that because either I'm right and I don't like I'm not crushed because these are my expectations, or I'm wrong and then I'm all in and it's great.
Um, okay. So your playoff matchups would be Eagles Cowboys 2-7.
Eagles.
Um, which would be a hilarious. You have Packers Lions 3-6. You did this all unintentionally, but you have all the divisional matchups
In Lambeau.
in Lambeau.
Ooh. All right. So does Jordan Love carry on Rodgers' legacy of falling short in playoff games? Uh, I will say though, I did watch that throw again in that Cowboys game recently. It just like popped up on my feed. That's still the greatest throw I've ever seen.
Yep.
Oh fuck me, man.
I mean, to be fair, he went into Dallas last year and stomped them week 1, and then he almost beat the Niners on the road. So I feel like Jordan Love is kind of
But
due.
I don't know if he stopped. I mean, he played well. The whole Packers team played well though, and the Cowboys played like shit. Like how many? I mean, Dak threw a pick six. That was one of the scores. I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember they got boat raced though.
Yeah, but they just didn't stop scoring touchdowns.
I'm taking the Packers. Fuck, I'm taking the Packers over the Lions. Shit, I really thought this was the Lions' year. I guess
I
not.
mean, if they don't win the division, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, fuck, man. I'm taking the
And
Packers.
Rams Falcons.
I'm taking the Rams. Yeah,
Yeah. So you would have Niners Rams, Packers Eagles
Niners, Rams in San Fran.
in San Fran. Yep.
I'm taking the Rams in the upset.
And then what about Packers Eagles?
I'm taking the Birds.
Okay. Rams Eagles Super Bowl pick.
Oh my god. I'm taking the Eagles. I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, I mean, so mine are Eagles Lions. I'd pick the Eagles. Packers Rams. and then Falcons, Cowboys. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys, so I'm gonna have. Do I think the Rams could beat the Packers in Lambeau?
I mean, Stafford played in Lambeau half his career.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Um, it doesn't really matter because the Eagles are my Super Bowl pick, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. At least we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
So, wait, so that means you have an Eagles Browns Super Bowl?
And you have Eagles Bengals, yeah.
I'm fine with that. This is Joe Burrow's year, dude.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go the Rams to win, and then we get Eagles, Cowboys, Niners, Rams, just for storylines.
Yeah.
And then I'll go the Rams to win that game, Kyle to choke, Brock
Yeah.
Purdy to choke, and then because I really think if the Rams had beaten the Lions, I think they would have been the team to go to the Super Bowl from the NFC last year because I think they would have beat the Niners at home.
Yeah.
Because I think they were a better team than the Packers were, and the Niners were not ready to play that game. And then I think you would have had Rams, Packers, and the Rams would have got the NFC Championship game at home. That
Okay.
was the original way I picked the playoffs was Bucks to win, uh, Rams to win, and Packers to win. And I thought it
Okay.
was going to be Rams Niners NFC Championship game, and I thought the Rams were going to win.
Okay.
But yeah, I have Eagles Browns, you have Eagles Bengals. So
And I'm taking the Bengals. It's Joe Burrow's year.
okay. So let me go back to my little notepad and I'm gonna upload this all into a spreadsheet and then we'll
Okay.
hang to it. Bengals
Ugh.
over Eagles. I'm gonna go Eagles over Browns.
Browns.
Which pains me to do, but I do think that's
Yeah, it's painful.
I just think like the only weaknesses the Eagles had they addressed, which was the secondary.
Yeah, I mean,
And
we went through it when we went through the Eagles. They're so deep on defense and offensively, they've got a competent offensive coordinator now.
and they still have like a top 5 offensive line, and their weapons are even better because they have Saquon. You know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense how the Eagles and Niners operate. Like
Yeah.
compared to the rest of the
And
NFC.
you can't really put it on like, the fact that the Niners aren't paying Purdy because he's on a nothing deal, because the Eagles are paying Hurts all the money in the world and they're still doing this.
Right.
It's crazy.
Which is what's amazing to me.
Yeah, Howie knows what he's doing. I'll give him credit.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think he knew what he was doing back when he was in a power struggle with Cliff, but he's pretty much shown that he knows how to do things.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get this on my phone again because that was more efficient.
Cool. You just make me host and I'll screen share.
Yeah.
So we will, of course, keep track of this. We'll keep track of how incorrect we were on all of this. And that'll be the fun is we're going to re-examine all of this when the playoffs start and we'll see. We had 13 of the same 14 playoff teams, which is pretty nuts. The one difference being you
was
had
the AFC East.
Yep, I had the Bills, you had the Jets. And yeah,
and I basically have the Jets for the memes.
Yeah. Which, all right. I'm gonna see. I mean, depending on what pick, I'm gonna try and do something different this draft. So
okay. Do I have to make you host?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, mock draft number 25 on the year.
Is this a 12? Okay. I've only been doing 10s because
right.
I have my draft like next week for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been different. I've been
I
getting
mean,
so used to 10 team like rankings and everything.
all right. 3 randomizations. Here we go.
Okay.
1, 2. Didn't move. 3.
Okay.
Okay. 7 and 8. So I probably will not be implementing a different
Me,
strategy.
Tyreek, Jeff, AJ.
Oh,
That's
okay. Um, I mean, the goal of this draft was to try and take players I had not taken
yeah,
previously.
but if Chase falls to you at 7,
Well, I mean, I was going to take AJ Brown, but I don't think I've taken any Chase yet this year. Do I want to go? I mean, the Bijan build just doesn't feel good, man, because
no,
you're,
it doesn't. And I'm looking at doing that if you take Chase. So one of us is doing it.
yeah. Hey, pretty standard. Kyron gone early.
Yeah.
Uh, Drake London really gone. So Marv has dropped in ADP.
Yeah, he
Which,
has, which I like for sure. I
Mhm.
was hoping that like Gibbs would make it back to me so I could go like 2 stud running backs and then just hammer wide receivers. I'm gonna take Marv here, but I don't like taking him as my wide receiver 1, although all projections kind of look like he's gonna be in that category.
Okay, I want to take Chris Olave, but I've taken so much of him. Um,
What is this?
what I mean, it's like if I don't see, here's the thing: if I don't take Chris Olave, I'm taking Brandon Ayuk or Devontae Adams, and would I rather have Chris Olave? I would. So,
What if Ayuk gets traded to like the Chiefs or some shit?
well, I don't think he's gonna get traded.
Yeah.
So that's
Ayuk goes in the 3rd. Henry, Collins, Mahomes,
interesting.
Debo,
Mahomes before Hurts. Laporta went.
Evans in the 2nd round.
Where are you at with Jalen Waddle?
I'm fine with him as my 2. In this case, I'm fine with him as my 3. When he plays, he's great. He's just never healthy the whole year. So if you can get 15, 14 games of Jalen Waddle, you'll be fine. Happy that you drafted him. I had him, I guess, his rookie year when his breakout year, and I was very happy with him. I didn't
Yeah,
have
no.
any of them last year because I thought he was going to return to Earth, and he only returned to Earth because of injury.
Well, and I mean, and Tyreek, but that was my big thing. I was like, Tyreek is gonna crush and Waddle's gonna suck. I mean, I really wanted to do the Kyler build where I don't take Jalen Hurts. Um,
But Jalen Hurts should be the pick right now.
yeah,
Waddle last year still had 1,004 touchdowns in only 72 receptions. And how many games did he play? Um, game log. He played in every game somehow. I felt like he was hurt last year.
he was in and out of most games, like over and over again.
Okay.
I can't like it. It's tough because I wanted to do something different, but once again, I'm drafting from the 7, and it's like Olave and Hurts and 2, 3 are just crazy value. Like I wanted to wait until round
Yeah.
6 and 7 to go Kyler, but like if
Um,
Hurts is my QB1 and he's there in the 3rd round, you got to take him. Like it just
how do I get back to the mock? My like phone closed out. Oh, Delavan draft. Here we go. Um,
yep, that's the best value. Oh, damn. Okay, Chisholm's playing and hitting 5 tonight. That's interesting.
They want to get him with runners on base.
Yeah, Verdugo, Soto, Judge, Wells, Chisholm, Torres, Rice, Volpe, Cabrera. I would have liked to see him hit leadoff. Metcalf, yeah, I mean that's the best value, and you get like I think he's just as good, if not better, than any of those other wide receivers, and you get Kelsey. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
James.
and like if I go wide receiver, yeah, that's who I would have picked in that spot. If I go wide receiver in the first round, I'd look at James Cook in the fourth, but with Robinson, I'm not taking a running back for a while.
Okay. Um, I would have
Yeah.
liked Cooper over Pickens, but based on the Cook build, that's where I go. Need
Yeah.
that wide receiver in this league. Uh,
See, this is a rough spot for me with this build because like I don't really want any Kamara. I could take Anthony Richardson, but I'm trying to get Kyler for the stack. And it's like I could get him next round.
wouldn't hate like if I were you and I were
Aaron
going.
Jones, Keenan Allen are like James Conner.
I mean, I might go Christian Kirk.
I know, but that feels like a reach in the fifth round. Like I ideally in this build, I'm getting Pickens or Cooper in the fifth.
Right. I mean, I might go Kamara if you want to wait on Kirk, but that's
But the thing is, if I don't take Kirk here, I'm not getting him because then I have to take Kyler with the next pick.
yeah, then you have to go Kirk based on this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I just like if I don't get like Cooper or Pickens or Tank Dell or T. Higgins or somebody like that falling to me at this spot, I'm not like super happy. But and then here I have to reach. I feel like I have to reach on Kyler because
Uh,
I could potentially wait. There's four quarterbacks in front of me. Dude, look at team six.
super wide receiver.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Kyler because like I have to make sure I get him for my
Right.
build to be successful.
So my build here, I can really go in any direction except Kyle Pitts. Right.
Well, you
That's the
could go Kyle Pitts. We've seen you do it before. You talked me into it one year.
oh, so I am gonna go Ramondre
Ramondre.
because I feel like there's still good value at wide receiver potentially coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I went Ramondre considering Mostert went.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I could go Evan Ingram here, but I think this is where I like the Calvin Ridley build.
Yeah. And this is why I hate when we're next to each other.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of I was like Calvin Ridley's not making it back, and that leaves me with Deontay, which Pitts goes, Prescott, Love. So you probably could have waited on Kyler,
I
but
might have been able to, but like I'm fine with this build. Like I've got, Harrison should be a stud one. Metcalf is a great two. Kirk should be a solid three. Deontay should be a solid flex. Like he'll get 100 balls this year, or at least 100 plus targets. Bijan and Moss should be workhorses. Kyler for the stack and Kelsey for the Kelsey. Like I'm okay with this on a daily basis.
so this is where oh whoops okay Tajay Spears.
I take
I
Watson.
right. I wouldn't have hated Watson, but I think based on my 4 wide receiver builds, like I just feel better with Spears.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I'm not gonna get all of the guys that I want to get.
Yeah, this is that territory
Yeah.
where you don't get,
Yeah.
where you just can't get all the guys you want.
Yeah. Let's see.
Charbonnet gone, Ford gone, Curtis
Yeah,
Samuel.
Curtis Samuel was the guy that I really wanted, but I already
Same.
have 5 wide receivers and I only had 2 running backs, so we'll take Robinson just for depth.
See, this is an interesting build because normally I go 0 RB and I'm just shotgunning the position, but this time I actually feel like kind of good with the 2 guys I have, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. Which is why
Uh,
James Cook in the 4th or in the 5th in my random 10-team leagues is like such great value.
when it's for ESPN, I'm never going to get James Cook, right? So
No, never.
it's a weird exercise to be engaged in here,
Mhm.
uh, because like I will never
Shoots.
get.
Mm, so I'll go Jacoby Myers. And then Jalen Wright.
Nice. I'll get Joshua Palmer as my 5th wide receiver. Damn, Brandon Cooks went.
And Taysom Hill went.
Yeah. Ty Chandler.
I'll take Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll take old man 100 balls last year. All right, so we were pretty efficient with that one, and I don't think we did anything crazy except for me going with Brian Robinson in the first round. That's my first draft that I've done him with in the first, and
Bijan, you mean?
yeah, that's what I meant. I got Brian Robinson too, but yeah, Bijan.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't hate that team in
no, I
terms.
don't. I don't hate that team. I think that there's enough value to be found in the rest of the draft. I just like, for me, I want one of those top 7 guys.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, like if I'm taking a running back in the first round, I want it to be McCaffrey. Otherwise, I don't want one. I like Marvin. I don't want him as my one. And everybody else, like I really like. Like I like Kelsey in the 3rd. I'm fine with that. Metcalf in the 4th is almost an auto pick. Kirk, I'm fine with as a 3rd wide receiver or a flex in any build.
It's crazy because Pittman, Metcalf, and Cook are like round 2 in ESPN, like early
I
round.
know
It's a shame,
it's a shame.
but it's
I
a
don't.
better value.
Yeah,
It's
I don't.
more
I
fair
don't.
value.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't hate it because like those are guys that like they could be 2nd round cornerstones, but I just love getting them in the 4th instead. And like I said, I like Kirk as a 3rd or a flex. That's what's been funny though about my the league that I've been prepping for, which I'm fine live streaming that draft. I got to find out what time it is, but um, it's a 2 flex league, so I have to find like an extra human being in there somewhere that's going to
Right,
play.
which the
So
10 team makes more fun.
I think it
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, 100% it makes sense. So my teams like on paper have looked like crazy. Um, but like everybody's team looks crazier because they're playing 5 wide receivers or 4 running backs or whatever the case is on a daily basis. So, um, yeah.
All right.
All right. So, I mean, we were efficient on that one. I guess let me look at the weeks and like what the schedule looks like for. All right. So next weekend, we'll find something to talk about. The weekend after that, I've got my draft, so I'll try to live stream that. The weekend after that, I might be in Disney, so I don't know how around I'm gonna be. But we'll see. And then
Football season's here.
yeah, maybe I'll actually watch that Star Wars show and I can rant about that at some point because I saw like the big reveal with how it ended and I'm so mad. So all right, but yeah, till next time.
All right.
Later.